All right, Chapman Highway, just up past Colonial Village. The Riverview Motel and the K's ice cream. First suburb created here in Knoxville, Tennessee after World War II. And just in time for the interstate highway system and the road here in South Knoxville that was so popular for travelers headed to the Smoky Mountains or into town to catch a volunteer game on the University of Tennessee campus. This morning I am at Ye Olde Steakhouse here along Chapman Highway. And talk about a relic of the times. Opened in 1968. In an old sort of antique store fashioned after log cabins from the Smokies. Family owned and operated business. Through generations and through travails. I mean, the King family started in '68 with a man named Ted Bunt King, I believe, at this ye olde steak shop off of Chapman Highway here. It has been robbed. It has been a victim of an arson here. But at one time, this used to be the place to go to for a prime cut or a filet mignon. I'm not sure if this business is closed or not. Google doesn't know or is not telling me. Although I remember, elephants have a way of remembering, and I remember reading something in the local Knox News that this family restaurant from '68 had closed. If it hasn't closed, it's in dire straits, I must tell you that. The lights are on. The electric's working. And in my look around the place, it doesn't look like it's been vandalized in any way. No one has gotten into it. The waiting area here. Wasn't sure what this sort of relic was, but it seems to be a plate or a dish of some sort. There's depth here, even if my camera doesn't show it. Sign of the times. I remember the sports bar and restaurant in Chattanooga that allowed smoking inside. Waiting area. And a little ornamentation out in front. No. That was my first thought too. That's not an Indian. That is actually a bear and its cub here along Chapman Highway. That's not the old tobacco Indian. Whose name escapes me now. Maybe I should look on Google to find out what its name is. That used to grace the front of cigar shops, cigarette stores. So yeah, it's a bear and a cub. Mother and her cub here. Along with some farming plows, some wheels of old, of more antique times. Along Chapman Highway. It truly is remarkable what this little restaurant, family restaurant, has been through. Arson, robberies, COVID. Shinking is not real, of course. It's false. There's I don't know, mortar behind it with netting, steel netting. I have no idea. It's been a while since I. Built my log cabin further up the road as a guest house above Chapman Highway. And I'm not talking the old Fort Dickerson Park, Ramada Inn of days. If they wanted the rustic look, they sure got it, but like I said, the electric's on, but I could have swore I read something about them having finally closed. Chapman Highway. I don't know if it's a franchise or not. Something, ain't it? Look at that. Beautiful, beautiful. Now, Chapman Highway became a highway and became a major route out of and into Knoxville, Tennessee. After the Smoky Mountains became a national park. And we're talking 30s for the national park. And after the war, the baby boomers were born into whatever car they were born into. My first thought when I saw the ye old steakhouse, when I first got into Knoxville, was, wow, that really looks like a relic, an antique, another example of Chapman Highway being a tourist destination for people going to the Smoky Mountains from Knoxville or coming into town for a University of Tennessee volunteer game on the weekends. But I must say, and this from a homeless man who hasn't had a car since he was probably about 25 years old. The first thing I thought of when I saw this place was, how in the world is anyone going to get into and out of this restaurant? Chapman Highway is named a highway for a reason, as opposed to a road or a street or avenue. It is a highway because in the 30s it was a highway. But who's gonna be brave enough to turn in to some of the disabled parking spots here in front from a very busy Chapman Highway? I know myself, and I'm sure I've posted about it, about kind of being a pedestrian on Chapman Highway. I had to ask the bus driver purposely whether he still picked up here at the ye old steakhouse, and he assured me that I could get the bus into downtown here. There is no bus stop on the other side. I had to get a bus stop all the way down at Walmart. And about walking that, there's no sidewalk really here on Chapman Highway that anyone outside of a teenager would even attempt once you get past the suburb of Colonial Village. You just don't walk to the next town here on the historic Chapman Highway. Unless, of course, you like to take your life into your hands, because there are no sidewalks. Certainly none wide enough for this fat boy. Now we have the road work you see there. What that is, see that there? That is road work from the city, I guess. Anyways, what they're doing is they're trimming trees. They're shearing back the growth from the summer here along Chapman Highway. They're pruning trees and cutting back, shrubs and stuff along the highway. Today, this midday of September. And I assume that's because they want to help the police find the body of any pedestrian that may get hit trying to walk Chapman Highway to have a steak at Ye Olde Steakhouse. Well, I am only being halfway facetious, but for many years, until today actually, I always thought this was the only parking lot for Ye Olde Steakhouse. But I was wrong. There is parking in the back. All right. Let me catch you in the back, and I'll show you the parking area for Ye Olde Steakhouse. You might have missed the sign that said there is parking available in the back. But then again, that's assuming this Ye Olde Steakhouse is still open. Hold on. All right, now on the flip side of Ye Olde Steakhouse here along Chapman Highway, I guess you had to be a neighbor to know it, or know a neighbor to know it. But this is the parking lot entrance to Ye Olde Steakhouse on Chapman. And there were two forms of entry here. This road there that goes up the hill, in which I believe is private. You could come down and park here for the steakhouse. Or that road off of Chapman Highway itself, where you don't have to cross Chapman Highway. You just have to be quick enough to make the turn up this road to the parking lot. Now, everything I read about this restaurant says it was the place for many years. And, you know, it kind of joked, a lot of the reviews joked about its location and, you know, taking one's life into one's hands, you know. And how could this guy build this place, or, you know, turn this old antique store into a steak, you know, restaurant with very little parking. Well, here's the parking. A lot of parking, if you ask me. All right. That there winds again to another private road, or to a neighborhood road. Shouldn't use the word private, but neighborhood road, as opposed to commercial maybe. But yeah. So there was plenty of parking here for ye old steakhouse. You just had to have the right car to, and the daring enough to make the turn into this place. I found this cool, and I just want to point this out because when I went through Connecticut, I stayed at a closed and abandoned Tilted Kilt beer shed. And this I found in the parking lot behind this steak restaurant here. I'm sure it's a beer shed, or it's storage or something for the kitchen or the dining area or something. But yeah, it just made me, you know, kind of wax nostalgic to be homeless again. Certainly not to be in Connecticut. All right, one final thing. Thinking of suburbs and Hartford, Connecticut, and here at the ye old Steakhouse. I wondered about this road here, because it does seem to come up fast in a way. You know, modern day automobiles, you know, not from the 70s or so. And in doing a little research, what's interesting here about this road is that it is a public road, and more than a public road here along Chapman Highway. In many ways, it is an historical road. All right, because what I am walking on is Dick Ford Lane Road. Now, in the city directory of Knoxville, down the East Tennessee Museum and Historical Society, Dick Ford Lane, for many years, I don't want to fathom a guess because I'll be wrong, but I know up until, say, the early 70s, Dick Ford Lane was the end of the normal postal route and the normal regular mail delivery here along Chapman Highway. You had Colonial Village starting in the 40s, slowly spreading out of downtown Knoxville towards more and more rural areas And if I'm not mistaken, Dickford Lane, I will definitely say up until the 1960s, was where regular mail delivery, or I don't know how I'm using this, but regular postal delivery with street addresses and numbers for mail delivery changed at this road from numbered houses and business and such to rural delivery and a rural delivery section. So in many ways it's an historic road here along Chapman itself, because this is where the colonial village of the 40s really ended. And it was not until the late 60s, 70s, 1960s and 70s that the road ahead went further on, and the postal delivery became a regular part of the homes and businesses around here. Another relic along Chapman Highway here of a lost times when people were headed in for the Vols games and people were headed out to the very popular Smoky Mountains.